You might have heard whispers. Whispers about a coin that looks so ordinary, yet people claim it could make you rich beyond your imagination. Some say it's worth thousands, others insist there's one out there that's sold for millions. And maybe, just maybe, the one you're holding, that silver-gray coin with President John F. Kennedy's profile and a small D mint mark below his neck, could be that very piece everyone's talking about. Could it really be worth a fortune? Is it true that the Kennedy half-dollar with a Denver mint mark could change someone's life overnight? Well, stay with me till the end, because we're about to uncover every secret, every rumor, and every hidden truth behind this legendary coin. At first glance, the Kennedy half-dollar seems like just another piece of metal, 50 cents of American currency that most people barely notice anymore. But beneath its shining surface lies one of the most emotional and powerful stories in all of U.S. coinage. A story born from national tragedy, forged in grief, and carried through decades of fascination, pride, and mystery. It all began in November of 1963, when the entire world stopped. President John F. Kennedy, young, charismatic, and full of promise, was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The shock rippled through every corner of the United States. People mourned not just a leader, but a symbol of hope. Within days, there were calls from every side to honor his memory in a permanent, meaningful way. And so, just a few weeks later, the U.S. Mint began working on a new coin, one that would bear his face and forever preserve his legacy. Chief engraver Gilroy Roberts took the task personally. He had designed Kennedy's official presidential medal earlier that year, and now, using that same portrait, he began shaping the image that would appear on millions of coins. The result was striking. Kennedy's profile facing left, with his familiar hair, his calm yet determined gaze, and his neckline extending elegantly into the word liberty. Below his chin, the phrase "In God We Trust" was carefully placed, and beneath that, the date of minting. 4 coins struck in Denver, the small D mint mark appeared just below the neckline, subtle yet powerful, marking the coin's origin. On the other side, the reverse design came from Frank Gasparo, who chose to depict the presidential seal. The eagle spreads its wings proudly, clutching an olive branch in one claw, symbolizing peace, and arrows in the other, symbolizing strength. 50 stars surround it, representing every state of the Union, with the inscriptions United States of America and half-dollar forming the outer circle. Together, these two sides created not just a coin, but a national memorial, one small enough to fit in your palm, yet large enough to hold the heart of a country. The first Kennedy half-dollars were struck in 1964, less than 4 months after Kennedy's death. The public's reaction was overwhelming. People lined up outside banks to get them. Within days, millions of coins disappeared from circulation, not because they were rare, but because Americans wanted to keep them as keepsakes. Families stored them in drawers, envelopes, and jewelry boxes. Collectors, sentimental citizens, and even children hoarded them, not for profit, but for remembrance. The 1964 Kennedy half-dollar was made of 90% silver, just like earlier U.S. coins of the era. That meant it had real intrinsic value, not just as currency, but as precious metal. When silver prices rose, so did the interest in these coins. And this is where the story of value truly begins. If your coin has a D mint mark, it means it was minted in Denver, one of the U.S. Mint's most active facilities. The 1964 D. Kennedy half-dollar had a massive mintage of over 156 million coins, yet its silver composition still gives it a base value far above its face worth. Even a circulated 1964 D is worth about $10 to $15 today, depending on silver prices. In higher grades, coins that have been carefully preserved and show no wear, they can reach $40, $50, or even $100 if the luster is strong and details are sharp. But collectors don't just stop at 1964. The following years, 1965 to 1970, continued to produce silver Kennedy halves, but with a twist. The U.S. Mint reduced the silver content to 40%, introducing what's known as the silver-clad coins. These coins feature a pure copper core, sandwiched between layers of silver, giving them that same beautiful sheen, but less precious metal. Their silver melt value sits around $4 to $7, but certain years, especially the 1970 D, can fetch significantly more. The 1970 D. Kennedy half-dollar is one of the true key dates in the series. It was never released for public circulation. Instead, it was made exclusively for special mint sets, meaning very few ever reached the hands of everyday people. That rarity has made it highly collectible, and depending on its condition, it can sell anywhere between $40 and $200. Then came 1971, the turning point. From that year forward, the mint completely eliminated silver from regular Kennedy half dollars, switching to the same copper-nickel-clad composition used in quarters and dimes. Many thought that would end the coin's popularity, but it didn't. The Kennedy half dollar continued to be struck year after year, partly for collectors, partly for circulation, though by the 1980s, most Americans rarely saw one in change. And yet, collectors remained passionate.
Why?
Because even after the silver was gone, the Kennedy half dollar continued to produce surprises, rare errors, double dies, and unique varieties that made some coins worth far more than others. Take, for example, the 1974 D double die obverse. If you look closely at the motto, "In God We Trust," or the word "Liberty," you can see clear doubling, almost like a shadow image, caused by a slight misalignment in the die during the minting process. These coins can bring $100 to $300, sometimes even more depending on grade. Then there's the 1982 D no FG half dollar, one of the most famous modern errors. On the reverse side, near the eagle's tail, you'll usually find the initials FG for designer Frank Gasparo. But on this rare variety, those initials are missing entirely, either due to over-polishing or a weak strike. If you happen to find one, its value could range from $150 to over $400. And of course, we can't forget about high-grade coins, those preserved so perfectly that they shine like the day they were minted. Collectors send coins to professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, where they're carefully examined and assigned a grade on the Sheldon scale, from 1 to 70. A Kennedy half dollar graded MS67 or MS68, especially from certain years or mints, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. For example, a 1964 D graded MS67 has been known to sell for over $1,500, while the elusive 1970 D in MS67 Plus once fetched over $2,000. It's amazing how a small difference in condition, a little extra shine, a sharper edge, a cleaner surface, can make a world of difference. Now, let's get to those whispers we started with, the stories that make collectors' hearts race and social media go wild. You've probably heard them, claims that a Kennedy half dollar sold for millions of dollars, or that a 1964 D coin in your change could make you an instant millionaire. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's because, for the most part, it is. But like all myths, this one started with a spark of truth. Over the years, a few ultra-rare Kennedy half dollars have sold for jaw-dropping sums, not in the millions, but certainly in the tens or hundreds of thousands. These aren't your everyday coins, though. They're special, experimental pieces known as Special Mint Strikes, SMS, or proofs. The 1964 Special Mint Set, SMS, Kennedy half dollars are among the most mysterious coins in modern U.S. history. They were never officially announced, and experts believe only a handful, perhaps a dozen or fewer, were ever struck. They have a unique satin-like finish and sharper details than regular coins, almost like a hybrid between proof and business strikes. When one of these ultra-rare coins appeared at auction, it stunned collectors, selling for over $100,000. Another remarkable specimen is the 1964 proof Kennedy half dollar with deep cameo surfaces. These coins have mirror-like fields and frosted designs that stand out dramatically. Only a few survive in pristine condition, and those have fetched $40,000 to $50,000 or more. Over time, as these stories circulated online, the facts got exaggerated. Articles and videos began calling them $1,000,000 Kennedy half dollars. And soon, the myth took on a life of its own. People started checking every half dollar they found, hoping theirs might be the one. Some even believed ordinary circulation strikes could sell for the same astronomical figures, and that's how the $1,000,000 rumor was born. But let's be honest, as of now, no Kennedy half dollar has ever sold for $1,000,000. Not even the rarest proof, not even the experimental strikes. The highest prices ever reached fall in the range of $100,000 to $150,000, and those are once-in-a-lifetime collector's pieces. Still, that doesn't make your coin worthless. Far from it. Because the Kennedy half dollar isn't just about price, it's about legacy. Every single piece, whether it's silver or clad, circulated or uncirculated, tells part of a larger story. One of a nation's love for its leader, its fascination with its history, and its continuing desire to find treasure in everyday things. Even modern Kennedy half-dollars, those from the 2000s and 2010s, are collected today. The mint produces them mostly for collectors now, often in limited quantities, which means pristine examples can still command premium prices. And for many coin enthusiasts, the thrill isn't in getting rich, it's in the chase, the history, and the beauty of discovery. So what's the real truth about the Kennedy half-dollar with the D mint mark? Here it is. Most are worth between 50 cents and $15, depending on the year and condition. Silver versions are worth more, sometimes up to $40 or $50. Rare errors or high grades can push values into the hundreds or low thousands. And yes, a few special versions, the ultra-rare experimental strikes, can hit the six-figure mark. But the million-dollar claim? That remains just a rumor. And yet, that rumor isn't without magic. Because it's the reason millions of people look at their old coins again, the reason families pull out dusty jars and forgotten boxes from attics, hoping to uncover something special. That excitement, that mystery, that what if, that's what keeps the Kennedy half-dollar alive in the hearts of collectors. So the next time you see one, maybe it's lying in your drawer, or maybe you get one as change from a store, don't dismiss it. Hold it up to the light. Feel its weight. Look closely at the details. The portrait of a president, the eagle spreading its wings, the gleaming silver or nickel surface. Whether it's worth a few dollars or a few hundred, that coin is a piece of American history, born in grief but shining with hope. Because in the end, the Kennedy half-dollar isn't just about money. It's about memory. It's about honor. And it's about the timeless human dream that maybe, just maybe, the next coin we hold could be the one that changes everything. So keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your hand steady, because even though most Kennedy half-dollars aren't worth millions, their true value lies in something even greater, their story. And that's something no price tag can measure.